Again, Brian Rosenwald, Ultralux, Chief Revenue Officer. We got Alex here as well. It's going to help us walk through a smooth setup of your HBOT chambers. Most of you should have already had these arrive at your home. They should come in 3 big boxes. So you have a chamber box, chair box, as well as the compressor. If you ordered a cooler, you'll have a 4th box that has a cooler in it. We're going to show you an unboxing today, as well as a completely set up unit, and walk you through all the parts that you get. Make sure you understand how to put them together. As it is pretty easy, we should be able to do this in about 20 minutes, and then we'll take questions afterwards. Alex, take it away.
Beautiful. So yes, everything that will be coming in the chamber box is right here along with the chamber. So you'll get a mat for underneath it. You'll have a grounding mat for in front of it, so you can ground yourself prior to getting into the chamber and going through a session. You'll have the 1.5 ATA valves that'll come with it, with an instruction manual on how to put those on the chamber, as well as this is the frame inflation gauge. This is the new one. This was the old ones we have. The ones you guys have will be most likely this one here. Then you have the oxygen hose adapter for inside of the chamber, tape to put on that to make sure you don't get any leaking. These are for the zippers to kind of help you get them up and down a little easier. This is the internal and external pressure gauges to let you know what the chamber is pressures at. Then you have the hoses, so the air hose and the oxygen hose, and you'll also get 3 premium masks that are much more comfortable.
Those come with it, and you can also
Yes.
order 2 at a time as well. The masks do last a really long time.
Yeah,
You feel free to order more, but we sell them in boxes of 2. This is the muffler too, and this is actually
This
really
is air
cool.
muffler for inside, so
Keeps it non-nosy.
yeah, not as crazy noise. So, okay, the next thing we'll do then is have your concentrator out. You'll go ahead, get that plug plugged in. There is, you got the on-off switch here. So this turns the concentrator on. What you'll do to inflate the frame is just go ahead, place this air hose into this push connect here. And then what you'll do right here, here's
The
the
difference between when he's setting that up is that you see on the concentrator, it says air and O2. The red only fits into the air, the blue only fits into the O2.
oxygen. Exactly.
So the O2 is oxygen. We'll explain the little dial for the oxygen here in a second, but the first thing you do is you want to inflate the frame.
Yes.
Take out
So there.
the chamber.
Exactly right. So all you'll do is make sure the power's on and make sure it's in HBOT mode. And then you can just go ahead and start inflating the frame.
And that noise you hear is the flap on the frame. As it pushes air through, there's a little flap that prevents air from backflowing. And so you'll hear some noise as the air is going into the frame. It only takes a couple seconds, really 30 seconds to blow up the frame. So you'll see already that the frame is pretty much there. You can't overinflate it as we have a valve on the frame now, but really all you need this to be is tight to where you're feeling it like a balloon. This is an air inflated system, so it can be too tight. You want to just have it done right now. So you could actually turn it off right
Yep.
now and you're set.
Here we go. Just like that. Then all you'll do is just go ahead and take that adapter off of there. Go ahead and just button this up so you ensure there's no leaking. And then to go over the hoses, as he was saying, this is a bigger hose than this one, so it has to go in this one. It's all color coordinated, so just to make it a little more easy to understand.
And just to be clear, those come on the unit. They don't have to put those on
Yep,
the
those
chamber.
come with
So
the unit.
you don't have to attach these. These valves are actually already attached to the unit.
Exactly right. So then the things that will not be attached that you will need to do yourself will be these external and internal pressure gauges. It's very easy. They just twist on, so you can just, get them on there and you should be good to go. Then there's one internal as well.
Now, while he jumps in the chamber, one thing to note, as they're shipped, these are actually zipped up. So before you can actually inflate the frame, you're going to need to unzip it so that air can get inside the chamber and it can come up with the frame. So that's one thing to note as you unpack it. These 2 zippers will need to be undone.
Exactly correct. So before you do anything like putting the chair in or anything like that, you'll want to put in a couple pieces prior just to make it easier. So you'll have the air muffler, oops, sorry, which goes right here. And then you will also, this piece here, this is for the oxygen mask. So you just go ahead and you will screw that into here. Like so. And you'll want to put some of the plumber's tape around it too, just to ensure it doesn't leak. And then you'll have your mask and your hose. All you'll do is just attach this part to here and just ensure that it's tight and everything else. And then you can just put the mask to the side for now. And then the next thing we will do is you will install this internal pressure gauge. So this one is a little bit different than the one on the outside because of the way it's hooked in. So this piece is meant for the inside. So just make sure when you're, installing it that is the right piece and everything else, and you should be good to go. Sorry if this is taking longer than it should. Sorry. There we go. All right. And then also something you'll want to think about too. Let me help out here.
Well, he jumps out. A couple of things of note that are already installed on the frame. So there's release valves, and the release valves will explain kind of their function as you see up a blown one here in a minute. But this is a manual release valve. You can control what the pressure goes to by either putting out or putting in. It's counterintuitive where when the valve is out, this is actually sealed. To release it, you can put it in. It does state that right on the valves. There's one on each side. You have control of this from the inside as well. So you can always release your own pressure. The other thing that is really nice about this chamber is it has 4 secondary valves, 2 on each side. This is the point in the webinar that Trevor talked about 1.5 versus 1.3 ATA. 1.3, they come installed on the chamber. So you'll see right on the valve, and I'll just grab one of these, that this would be installed. So it's a 1.2 to, oh, this is the 1.5, sorry.
Yeah. So you will have the 1.3s installed on the chamber when you get it.
Correct.
If you want to change the pressure
To
that the chamber
1.5.
to, then you'll just go ahead and swap these out, which is really easy as well. So
Yeah, this goes up to 7.2 PSI, where a 1.3 goes to about what, 5?
and a half.
4.5.
Yeah.
Okay. And it is really easy. You do not want to use tools for this. There's no
Everything's
tools
hand
needed.
tightened.
Everything's hand tightened. You just pop it out. And you pop in the new one. This one doesn't require Teflon tape. It is metal on plastic. And you just want to make sure that it is tightened to the rubber gasket seal.
And you'll want to make sure you have all 4 of them switched out to
Yeah.
get that 7.2 PSI.
Because these automatic release, if you had one that was a 1.3 and 3 that were 1.5s, the one would still release at 4.5 PSI and you wouldn't get up to pressure to 7.2.
Correct.
So just double check the 4 secondary valves that they all match. Each one of your systems comes with 4 1.3 and 4 1.5.
Exactly correct. Show your chair next.
Sure.
Okay, so here's the chair. It's comfy and it's pretty lightweight. It's not too tough to get in there. So basically, we'll just go ahead, have it as open as possible. Let's go ahead and put it in here. Simple as this. And you are good to go. That's all that takes.
It does sit in between the frame. And so with a little wiggling, you can actually have it sit right down on the floor.
Nice and subtle.
The frame is a little flexible in between. So if it doesn't feel like it's sitting on the floor, just wiggle the base around, make sure it's not in a triangle area. The base, as you can see, is a square. So if it's not squared with the frame, it won't sit right on the ground.
You're correct. Would you like to go over the concentrator a little bit?
Yeah, let's cover the concentrator and then maybe hook up the AC.
Okay. All right, so concentrator. So once it's on, it'll show you the O2 purity, pressure, time, and filter life. You'll want to make sure you have it in the correct mode depending on what you're using the concentrator for. So HBOT mode is obviously to inflate the chamber. If you're looking to just do pure oxygen, that comes out of here. So you would hook up a mask to here. Go ahead and you'd start it. And you'll see.
We usually have a little bit of water in there that's distilled.
Yes. And also you want to keep an eye on this as well, because this will control the amount of oxygen that's coming out of the concentrator. So you'll always want that at about a 5, because it's a 5-liter concentrator. But yeah, so you can kind of hear the oxygen coming out of here. That's how you know you're getting the maximum amount you can get out of there. Sorry.
One of the things to note about the oxygen is that bubble thing, turn it back on, and let's get down right here. This actually will bounce up and down.
Yeah.
And so this is the control of the liters of oxygen that come in and out. You notice with turning the dial, it can go up and down. And it won't ever, it's the volume is measured by air going around that ball. And so it's never going to stay exactly where it needs to be, and you can dial it on there. When I say that, it doesn't, it bounces. So it's never like just perfectly still,
Yeah,
because it fluctuates.
Just a little bit here and there. So yeah, so that's the oxygen mode and all that good stuff. And then go back to HBOT, and then you want, and this will adjust the time of your session inside there. So you can do it up to 180 if you wanted to. I suggest at least an hour to an hour and 20 minutes would be optimal.
It does take 10 minutes to come to pressure, and usually another 7 to come down out of pressure. So an hour and 20 is great. One thing with the compressor, when you put it in HBOT mode and you have the oxygen connected, oxygen does not come out in HBOT mode unless it's up to
3.5.
3.5
Yeah.
PSI.
0.5 PSI, the oxygen will automatically turn on.
It has to read on the concentrator that is 3.5 PSI, then oxygen starts going into the chamber.
So just to keep that in mind. Okay, would you want to do the AC?
Yeah, so let's hook up the AC real quick, and then we'll show them a fully complete unit.
All right, so here's the AC unit. It comes with a power cord that just comes in the back here. Then you have an in and an out. So then what you'll need to do is, since it's going through the compressed air,
Sorry.
So you're gonna want to go air in from the concentrator to this, and then you'll have an extra hose that comes with it for the out, and that out will go directly into the compressed air in here. And then all you'll do is you'll start your concentrator session, flip this on, and it will automatically just start cooling.
So one thing to note on the cooler, as per discussions in the HBOT, the coolers are not going to change this from 80 degrees to 70 degrees. If you're in a non-controlled environment, meaning that it's 85 degrees because you live by the ocean and you're waiting for breeze to come through, this cooler is a small AC unit. It's so that warm air from the compressor does not come into the unit, the chamber. And so as far as the AC unit goes, if you're expecting it to cool it from 85 to 70 degrees, it's not going to do that. You need to have, I would recommend having the chamber in a controlled environment so that it stays at a certain degree, but you're not pumping warm air into the chamber. Next thing, let's show them the valves, the calibration, and a pumped up unit and how it's all.
All right, so this will be a full setup unit. This is what it'll look like for you. You'll have your mat underneath just to ensure the frame safety. You'll have the grounding mat, which
Show them the plug.
so
That's important.
the grounding part of the plug. And where that goes is into the grounding portion of your outlet, just like that. And that'll just start grounding with the mat here. So then basically this is it blown up. It's in pressure. We're all good to go. So we have had a couple of people with some issues on these not reading what it's reading on the concentrator. So the way to fix that is there's a piece right here. It's just like a little nipple, and all you'll have to do to recalibrate it is basically just pop that nipple up. Whoop. Or that.
That releases air out from the
Yes.
side of there.
Exactly right. And then
Push
you
it.
just want to push that back in and make sure it's in there tight. And then it should recalibrate this. Same goes for the one on the inside as well. So from what you can hear now, it's at pressure. These are releasing air, keeping it at that 4 and 4.5 PSI. When you are all done with it, you'll get beeping from the concentrator 5 minutes prior to.
So right before it's done, what he's saying is there's a system on here, just in case you fall asleep, that it does beep at you 5 minutes prior to it ending, and then beeping at you when it's ending. It does automatically shut off too. So at the time, the compressor will shut off. You still have air in here, and it will stop releasing from the secondary valves when the pressure goes below the 4.5. That's what the manual release valve is for too.
Exactly correct.
So you can turn this and you'll hear air start flowing out of it. And you can control how much air flows out of it. You don't want to release more than about 1 PSI per minute. Because this is like diving. If you've ever been diving in the ocean, scuba diving, you will have to clear your ears as the pressure goes up, and your ears will need to clear when they go down. So if you're congested, if you can't clear your ears, you're going to have a problem being an HBOT, because you need to be able to clear your ears.
Yeah.
And that's why we say when you release it, don't depressurize it very fast. You want to go about 1 PSI per minute. So it takes about 7 minutes to come out. It takes about 7 to 10 to come up to pressure when you have the 1.8 valve, 1.5 ATA valves in.
Correct. So yeah.
So that's about it. That's all the parts. I know it's probably a lot when you first see it, but once you've done it once or twice, it really is pretty intuitive. We tried to make it as simple as possible. With the parts, if you have any questions, we have customer service here ready to help. Lexi's actually on right now for question and answer. So we're happy to take questions at this time. This is where we're going to cut it for a video that we put on our YouTube channel, so you can always access how to set this up. I know we went through that kind of fast, but I wanted it to be in a short period so that we didn't send a 50-minute video out. We wanted a shorter video for people to scroll through. All right. Thank you for paying attention. We're going to get to quick Q&A now.